Well, it's not tomorrow yet, but I was just thinking more. I'm sorry. I guess I have a lot of thoughts in my car. So anyway, I was thinking about this. And sometimes I have patients that tell me that they didn't want to work with me at first, and it's kind of this kind of moment of like, okay, I'm just gonna try, and we'll see. And because I have those two first visit package, they are like, okay, this is not a ton of it's okay. I can invest in myself and I can do those 2 visits. And I want to explain to you why I've created this so that you understand. As a rheumatologist with 2 trainings, I think one of my zone of genius is to actually diagnose properly patients. And one of the really important things for me was to make sure that I had the time to really understand what was going on with patients so that we could actually have a proper diagnosis, and that we could understand what was working, what was not working in terms of their medications. And so the number of patients that come to me and really don't have the proper diagnosis is incredible. I mean, I've made diagnosis of valley fever. Guys, like valley fever doesn't even exist in France because it's coccidioidomycosis, and it exists in Arizona and all of those dry country, dry county. I made a diagnosis of valley fever in a patient that came with joint pain, skin rash, and fevers. And I remember, and she came from Arizona to see me, and I was like, wait, like, this might be the first time I make a diagnosis of valley fever, but I think that's what you have. Fair enough, that's what she had. And I was like, well, I'm not completely sure because this is the first time I'm making this diagnosis. And what do? We treated her with treatment for valley fever, and yeah, fair enough, like she's completely normal, like no symptoms whatsoever. That's one of them. Another one, I made another diagnosis of another type of infection. Another one, I made a diagnosis of diabetes. Another one, I made a diagnosis of a neurologic issue. And those are not rheumatologic, but then, in rheumatology, instead of lupus, we actually make a diagnosis of psoriatic arthritis because the physician had never looked at her skin. This is what I mean by you need time to make a diagnosis in patients. You need time to listen to patients. You need time to actually examine patients. And nurse practitioners and PAs, they are great, but they are not trained the way that a rheumatologist is trained. And that is why there is this first diagnostic package.